Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Lions Talk Live. Hey, as I promised in today's live stream, I got some news late last night and then again early this morning that the Lions and Brad Holmes never stopped trying to improve this team. Love him or hate him, I think we all agree Brad Holmes is a general manager here to win now. He wants this team to become as good as it can be and make a legitimate push for the Super Bowl. So, I promised you all I would get on the mic and bring that information to you, and I got it confirmed from a second source around 10:30 this morning. So without further ado, let's get into today's Lions Talk Live. Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for tuning in today for Lions Talk Live. If you are a part of this morning's live cast, then I'm going to tell you this. You're checking in on this video, wanting to know some of the information I got earlier this morning and then confirmed again roughly around 10:30 a.m. Brad Holmes has been making some calls, and it looks like he's working the phones once again. I don't think it's any kind of real question about this. The Lions, if they continue to win, are going to try to make some moves to push them into the upper echelon of the NFC. If you were around on the channel last week, you're aware that the Lions called, the Tennessee Titans, they called Denver Broncos, etc., and the Pittsburgh Steelers about certain personnel that they want to bring in. But Brad Holmes, I'm sure we all know, doesn't want to overpay. So right now it seems like he's kicking the tires, getting a feel for what everybody's going to ask for this player or that player. Yes, Jeffrey Simmons would be a huge get for the Detroit Lions, but as of last night, that's not the case. The Lions are actually calling and talking to another team. And again, this was confirmed or brought to my attention, late last night. I chatted with that source again this morning. And then from a second source around 10:30 a.m., I've got it confirmed. The Lions and Brad Holmes have communicated with the team about what I think would be an impact player. So if you were watching, again, Lions Talk Live last week, we talked about some news that during the Green Bay Packers game, Brad Holmes got on the phone, worked it, and made some calls to a couple different teams. Let me refresh your memories here where they were with things. They did call the Pittsburgh Steelers about Larry, boy, I'm going to kill this last name, Obajabi. They also called the Denver Broncos about DJ Jones. And then the big name, I think, that really kind of jumps out from the rest of those is Jeffrey Simmons from the Titans. But as of last night, again, confirmed twice today from multiple sources that they also called today, and this would be a huge one if this comes to fruition, Jonathan Allen from the Washington Commanders. The Commanders obviously laid a dud last night. Allen had some less than kind things to say about the franchise, but the other part of that is the team just re-signed the other defensive tackle, names escapes me right now off the top of my noggin, but just re-signed him. So now how much capital do you want to really invest into that defensive front, especially at the interior tackle position? We all know Allen is a heck of a player. Could Brad Holmes pull this off? I guess we'll have to wait and see. What does this all mean? What can we take of it as Lions fans? It means to me, and again, I'm basing this on my experience as a head coach, general manager, yada, yada, yada. You get that the Lions really do foresee themselves, if they can win these next couple of games, especially heading into the bye, that they're in the thick of the NFC. And they see the difference between teams being very minimal, and especially as you push through number, say, 2 through 10. We were talking about that with a group of you guys on the live chat this morning and then also a little bit yesterday. So Brad Holmes, you have to remember, just because you call on somebody doesn't mean you're going to trade. But what I can say is since this preseason, this guy's been making some calls and setting up, planting seeds with different teams. If teams start falling out of contention, they have to start considering, am I going to re-sign this guy or, just let him walk? And if you don't feel like you're going to make the playoffs and you've already determined that maybe that salary on the contract isn't ideal for your team or that you're not going to be able to keep this guy, maybe something versus nothing is where some teams go. It used to be the rule of thumb, not much would happen in the NFL draft or even right before the trade deadline. But I want you to remember this past year's NFL draft. How many trades went down in the first couple of rounds? An NFL record amount. The last few years leading into the trade deadline, That's also been a trend that's been going up. So I won't be surprised at all. Personally, to me, I agree with trying to get somebody on the defensive line. I also agree with the idea of trying to maybe get some additional depth on the offensive line. Receiver, if Jameson Williams does pan out, I think it kind of slips down a little bit because you do have some quality depth. You just don't have that home run hitter guy other than St. Brown. But if J-Mo can be that, then you probably don't really need to worry about adding some additional pieces. Jonathan Allen, Jeffrey Simmons, I think you and I can agree those would be home run players for the team and really take this defense to an incredibly another level. Especially when you talk about Mosley coming back, CJ probably coming back towards the end of the season, Walker getting some more reps and getting healthy, Kirby Joseph. The secondary is pretty sound, and I think everybody would agree the linebacker core is no longer a weakness of this team. I'm not going to say it's a strength, but it's not a weakness, and you got some real depth there. The DJ Jones and Larry, again, I'm going to kill his name, Obajabi. I think there'd be, if nothing else, more depth, but maybe Brad Holmes, Nan Campbell, Aaron Glenn see more potential in those guys that you and I are aware of. I mean, they found some value in places that most of us didn't consider before. So you're going to have to give them at least the benefit of the doubt that they could be doing it again. All right, I'm going to wrap up this real short video, but I did promise you guys this morning I would get it out to you later today once I got it confirmed another time, which I now have. So I'm going to get this video going, get it up to YouTube, and let you guys talk about it. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Really would like to try to make a push for 3,500 by kickoff on Sunday. And if you got a moment and you enjoyed the video, don't be afraid to hit that thumbs up button, like button, whatever you want to call it. All right, we'll see you next time on Lions Talk Live. Take care.